All right, so today I wanted to talk about this tweets and story from the Western Standard. Uh, and the Wild Rose Independence Party says there were more than 900 management bureaucrats on Alberta Health Services Sunshine List in 2019 because they made more than $132,924. The list included no frontline workers. The health of Albertans should be the top priority, not top heavy bureaucracy. So this just adds to the list of reasons that I bring up that when the left complains about the UCP cutting this or cutting that or not enough funding for this or that, I just scoff. Like I have such a strong scoff. I can't even describe it. In that, again, I've been over it a lot of times, but I'm going to go over it a little bit again because this is, kind of important stuff. In that, if you care so much about this stuff, why do you defend this stuff? Right? Now, there's obvious reasons why they defend this stuff, and I'll get into it. But again, so we have over 900 people making over $132,000 a year that aren't even frontline workers. Please, like, it's possible, but I would bet every dollar I have that there is no way, not a chance, that every one of these people is necessary for running our healthcare system. And the other thing would be there is no way that every one of those people is worth that much money. Like, not a chance. Right? And again, this isn't even including frontline workers. You could cut these people, you could cut this pay, and actual um, direct, like paying for, nurses and doctors wouldn't be affected at all. Right? These are the kind of people that are the dregs of society. Right? There's two kinds of people that are the dregs of society. There's the people that want to sit at home on welfare and collect a check and not work. And then there's the people that they want to work, but they want a nice cushy job where they don't really have to work that hard, but they still want a really good salary and really good benefits. Like the teachers are a prime example of this. Obviously, not all of them. Again, I need to always make that stuff clear. And then these kind of people, right? Basically, public sector workers in a nutshell. Right? And here's the reason these people, same goes for teachers, aren't worth as much as they're getting paid. The way is very simple. Um, are you afraid of competition? And a lot of them wouldn't answer it. A lot of them would try and dodge the question. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of them would either directly answer yes or answer yes by default, and that they wouldn't directly answer the question. So again, like, we know these people aren't worth that much money. So again, the point here is very simple. Alberta spends more per capita, significantly more than Ontario, BC, and Quebec. I think Ontario, we spend like 20 or 25% more, right? Like, way more money per capita, right? So this is the thing that the left doesn't tell people, and this is the thing about politics and this kind of stuff that's the thing that bothers me the most. It's just the dishonesty of people. And they're not necessarily directly lying to people, right? This is when it comes to politics and the mainstream media and a lot of these kind of people, is that they don't, you hear all the time that, oh, the mainstream media lies so much and this politician, they lie so much. And a lot of people question that, but what they don't tell you and what people don't understand is that the way we're lied to the most is lies by omission. And then they're not technically lying, they're just leaving out very, very relevant information that if they told people said information, it would change their minds, or at least it would make them stupid if they didn't change their minds. So, and the example I'm getting at here is that the NDP is complaining about the UCP cutting spending, or at least when it comes to healthcare, not increasing spending enough. That when it comes to healthcare, I believe They just simply cut the rate at which we increase spending. They didn't actually cut spending. Um, Doctors are actually still getting pay raises, and nurses are still getting pay raises. They're just not getting it at the same rate they used to get it. Right? Which again, if they thought they were worth so much money, they wouldn't be afraid of private competition. Right? This is the way you know these people are. Like I mentioned before, this is when it comes to teachers, when it comes to doctors, when it comes to nurses. If they genuinely thought that they were worth more or as much as they were getting paid, they wouldn't be afraid of a private system. Right? So getting back to the main point here, the way you know that the NDP and these people are lying to you is that they complain about cutting spending, but what they don't tell you is Alberta is still spending more, even with the spending cuts, still significantly more than Ontario per capita and even BC and Quebec. Right? Because again, the average person hears cutting spending and they think, oh, the UCP are destroying healthcare and the schools and all this garbage. But they're not, right? They're not. They're still keeping spending higher than all these other major provinces. And this is the way you know these NDP supporters. Again, most of them are just useful idiots. And again, and when it comes to the Rachel Notleys of the world, they're the worst people. Like they are the worst people because there's no way she doesn't know that we spend more per capita than these other places. I mean, if we were genuinely cutting spending below these other places, you don't think they would be bringing that up? Like, of course they would. So there's no way they don't know this stuff. So at the end of the day, when it comes to those people, it's all about power. Like, it's all about power. So again, the other point too is very simple: is that we have a spending problem as a province, and the thing that these people don't tell you is that the reason that we have that public sector workers have it so good in Alberta is because we were such a wealthy province for the longest time. Why were we such a wealthy province for the longest time? It's because of the oil and gas sector. And these are the same people that want to destroy the oil and gas sector. So again, that you can't have it both ways. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand because, well, again, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about power, which is why they have the beliefs they have. But again, like I said, you can't have it both ways. If you want to pay public sector workers so much, then we need to be the wealthiest province per capita by a good amount. And considering oil and gas, it's pretty much impossible to make a go of that anymore, at least to the scale on the level we once were. How else are we going to do it? And the NDP always brings up, oh, it's so we could make Calgary the Silicon Valley of Canada. We could create all these jobs. Well, number one, if you really believed you could do that, why didn't you do it with the term you had before? Right? That kind of flies in the face of that. And number two, nothing speaks of, economic growth like increasing taxes and increasing regulations. Like anyone with half a brain has noticed that, over the last year or, even handful of years, that several major countries, several very prominent rich individuals have left California because of the taxes and the regulations. Right? We have Tesla, we have Joe Rogan, we have, again, there's an endless list of people that are leaving California because of the high taxes and regulations. Like if high taxes and regulations was such a great idea, then why isn't California by far the richest state per capita? And I don't even know if they are or not, to be quite honest. But the one thing I do know about California is that the wealth gap, which is something the left always complains about, again, I don't know this for sure, but given the amount of homeless people in Los Angeles and San Francisco, and the amount of very rich people in Los Angeles and San Francisco area, something tells me California has the largest wealth gap. California has a high unemployment rate right now. Well, they have for a while. Right? So this is the thing that again, the NDP's way of creating jobs is we're gonna print money, we're gonna run deficits, we're gonna increase taxes, and we're gonna hire public sector workers. which, yeah, technically you're creating jobs, but if you were such an economic, genius, you should be able to create jobs without printing money and increasing taxes. Like, if you can't create jobs without increasing taxes and regulations and running a bigger deficit, if you can't do that, you don't have you don't have any business running a lemonade stand. You don't have any business being a small town city councilor, let alone a premier or an MPP. Like you could legitimately, like, to be quite honest, you could legitimately put a monkey as premier of Alberta, or premier of any province, prime minister of Canada, and they would do a better job than Justin Trudeau, than Jason Kenney, than Rachel Notley, Doug Ford. And why is that? The monkey wouldn't have shut down the economy for no reason over the last year, right? The monkey wouldn't put in stupid regulations that make no sense, right? And that's where we're at. Seriously, and this is the thing too that people bring up too. Like, literally, like, anyone could be doing as good of a job as Justin Trudeau or these kind of people, right? The fact that we're at the point to where literally a random person, someone could be picked at random and they would do every bit as good of a job as the average politician, like, we've gone seriously wrong as a society when we were at that point. So again, the whole point here is very simple. To sum it up here, Alberta doesn't need more taxes. We don't need more debt. What we need is we need to cut spending, and we need to try and spur economic growth. How do we do that? Again, cutting spending is very easy. You just cut spending. It's not that hard. Number two, I think that there needs to be an audit done for these kind of people. Anyone that works for the government that can't prove that their job is essential should be fired, or at the very least laid off. Don't throw them out on the street, whatever. But they should be gone, right? They should be gone. There's no reason to have them. Again, same thing goes for a lot of the other people too. But again, how do we get economic growth? Well, given the fact that our oil and gas sector is being crippled for no reason, that does make it tough. But again, ending the destruction of our economy for no reason over the what would do amazing things to help us out right now. Cutting regulation, right? I think that would do a ton of help. And finding ways to innovate. That's something that governments nowadays just seem to kind of not really care about, is innovation. That's something that, again, the private sector is doing all the innovation right now, right? Like, you look at like, prime example. Again, if you look at SpaceX and Elon Musk going into space, the Elon Musk got it done for, like, double, or, what was it, like less than half the price, and like 3 times quicker than what it would take the government to do it. So again, the private sector is what's driving all the innovation these days. And the way that the way that the government can help this stuff is simply get out of the way and deregulate to the point to where there's so much of an incentive to innovate that more and more people want to do it. Right? So again, making things perfect is impossible. Trying to please everyone is impossible. No one knows how to do that. But taking a step in the right direction is so easy right now, it's not even funny. And like I said, taking a step in the right direction right now is so easy that a monkey could be running things and we would be doing better than what we're doing. So anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out those links below. Follow me on those other platforms if you haven't already. If you want to donate, you could do that as well. Again, I would very much appreciate whatever support I can get. But like I said, check out those links and stay tuned for more.